Hello and welcome to my step-by-step guide on how to install the Monport version 2.0 motherboard into your K40 Laser. This tutorial is specifically for the older style K40 lasers with the ribbon cable for the optical stops, along with this type of power supply that has the screw connectors that secure the wires to it. We need a few things before we can get started. First, a 3mm flathead screwdriver, a standard size Phillips screwdriver, a 10mm wrench, a pair of wire cutters along with some wire. Here I just use 18 gauge, but you could use a smaller size than this if you have it on hand. And then one of the tools I don't show me using in this video but highly recommend getting is one of these ferrule crimp tools to secure the wire ends after being stripped. I will provide links to all the tools in the description below. Now, first thing we need to do is disconnect the power cable. I just removed it from the back of the machine on the right side. Next, we're going to lift the panel cover to get access to the power supply and the motherboard. At this point, I suggest taking a picture of both the wiring for the motherboard and the power supply, just in case it varies from mine. Next, we're going to remove the panel that the motherboard is attached to. There are 4 bolts that hold it in place. To reach the 2 bottom ones, you're going to want to put something up underneath the right side of the machine. Here, I just use a piece of 2x4 I had laying around. Then, once the panel is free, go ahead and disconnect the wires attached to the motherboard and bring it over to your desk. Then we're going to remove the screws at each corner of the board and replace it the same way that it's installed with the replacement one. After that, put the panel back in the same spot that it was in and go ahead and start plugging in the wires. If we were looking at it directly starting from the left, we have the ribbon cable for the optical stops. Now this one is really easy to plug in upside down, so make sure you have the leads on the cable facing the connections on the plug. Then the stepper motors get plugged into the Y motor port listed on the board. Next to that we have the CBI wire. Don't plug this one in just yet. This is the one that controls the power of the laser. And the last one is to power the motherboard itself. Now before plugging in the CBI wire, take some time to make sure when plugging it in you have the correct side plugged in, as we have to cut the other side off. The left pin should be empty, middle has a black wire, and the right side has a red wire. Once you have the correct side identified that goes to the motherboard, go ahead and cut the other connector from the other side off. Then we're going to want to strip these no more than 1/4 of an inch back. At this point, you should also take your extra wire and get 2 lengths of it between 2 to 3 inches long, also stripping and twisting the ends. These will be jumper wires used for the power supply. Then, back at the machine, we're going to go ahead and disconnect all the wires attached to this part of the motherboard. They should be fine as they are, since they're all just the components on the front of the access panel that are no longer connected, but I added some electrical tape to the ends anyway. Next, to make things simpler, we're going to number each of the terminals. Starting from the left, we have 1, going up to 6 on the right. Terminal 6, we just leave empty. Terminal 5, we're going to put the red CBI wire into. Terminal 4, we're going to have the black CBI wire along with one end of the 2 jumper wires. Make sure when doing this one, if you're not using the ferrule crimp tool, that the ends are securely in there. I twisted mine together before putting them in. Terminal 3 will have the other side of the other end of the jumper wire coming from terminal 4, and then terminal 1 and 2 will be connected together with the other jumper wire we made. Now at this point, make sure the wires are securely screwed down by giving each a very gentle tug. After that, you just need to plug the laser back into the wall and connect it to your computer. Something to note, if you power on the laser without first having it plugged into the computer, it'll fire the laser on startup. I'm not exactly sure why, but it's something just to be aware of. And now you can use either lightburn or laser dribble to control your laser. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I'll try to help as best I can.